Welcome to this explainer. I am incredibly excited you're here, because today we are going on a seriously fascinating journey. We're going to take the way you probably interact with AI right now, which, let's be real, is likely just basic prompting, and we're going to level you up, step by step. The goal? Building a fully automated, personalized AI operating system using Claude. If you've ever sat there feeling like you're just scratching the surface of what this tech can actually do for your day-to-day workflow, well, you are in exactly the right place. Get ready, because this is going to completely transform how you work.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the AI mediocrity trap. Then, the core skill, GKO prompting. Third is beyond text, search and vision. Fourth, artifacts, building live tools. Fifth, we'll put together the full AI stack. And finally, reaching level 5 mastery. We absolutely have to move in this specific order, simply because each feature conceptually builds right on top of the last one.
All right, Section 1, the AI mediocrity trap.
So why are your AI results so generic and frankly forgettable? Have you ever typed a quick question into an AI and gotten just a totally useless robotic answer back? And after a few times, did you just kind of assume, well, I guess this is just what AI does? Now, that workflow isn't exactly wrong, but it's a lot like buying a high-performance sports car and then only ever driving it in first gear to go to the grocery store down the street. Sure, it works, but it's definitely not what the thing was built for.
The honest truth is, this mediocrity trap, it's not a property of the tool itself. It is entirely a property of the input. Imagine walking up to a brilliant, world-class business consultant and just blurting out, "How do I go viral?" I mean, what can they possibly say back to that? They don't know your industry, your audience, your platform, or your specific constraints. Without that context, even the absolute smartest advisor on earth is forced to just hand you generic platitudes. The AI model isn't withholding its best thinking from you, it's just giving you the absolute best answer it can possibly construct from the really thin information you handed it.
Which brings us to Section 2, the core skill, GKO prompting.
Specificity is the actual product here. Just think about the exact difference in practice. A generic input is always going to yield useless cliches. But look at what happens when you apply a highly scoped prompt. You instantly get a targeted, actionable strategy. The massive gap between a mediocre AI experience and a genuinely transformative one is almost never about which model you're using. No, it's all about how much real context and specificity you actually put into the box.
To achieve that level of specificity every single time, we use the GKO framework. Think of it as a quick mental checklist to run through before you hit send. First, G is for goal, not some vague vibe, but what you actually want and exactly who it's for. Next, C is for context. This is your specific situation, stuff like your current revenue, what you've already tried that completely failed, and your time constraints. A is for action, the precise scoped task you want done. And finally, O is for output. Listen, this is the insider secret, the part almost everyone skips over. Tell Claude the exact format you want the answer to take, and crucially, what to exclude so you don't get that generic filler. Put these four together, and you've got yourself a bulletproof prompt.
Moving right along to Section 3, beyond text, search and vision.
By default, language models are essentially frozen in time at their training cutoff. If you ask about something that happened, say, last week, you might as well be asking a time traveler from a few years ago. But toggling on web search completely solves this whole frozen in time problem. It allows Claude to instantly act as a live, real-time research assistant. You can ask it to analyze a competitor's live pricing strategy, and it'll genuinely go out there, pull multiple live sources, and come back with a beautifully synthesized answer in real time.
Furthermore, so much of our actual day-to-day work is inherently visual, right? Well, vision allows you to hand over an image directly to get meaningful feedback without having to painfully translate a visual problem into text first. Let's say you have a YouTube thumbnail that just isn't performing. You can upload it and get a specific critique on its emotional tone or find out if you're using insider language that might be alienating new viewers. Vision isn't some entirely separate skill from good prompting, it's literally the exact same GKO skill, just applied to an image.
Let's step it up. Section 4, artifacts, building live tools.
Okay, this is where things get really magical. With a feature called artifacts, Claude doesn't just tell you how to build something, it actually builds the thing right there in a separate panel. Let's say you want an ROI calculator to hand out to prospective clients. Step 1, you define the specific inputs, like their hourly rate. Step 2, you define the outputs, like their estimated annual savings. And Step 3, Claude instantly codes a live, interactive web app for you. A single, well-specified prompt literally collapses days of development down into seconds, giving you a totally functional tool you can immediately use, download, or even share via a public link. It's wild.
Let's tie it all together in Section 5, the full AI stack.
The true foundation of the stack is custom instructions. Look, left unmanaged, every new chat is just a blank slate. That means you have to type out your background over and over again, which is exhausting. Custom instructions fix this by creating a permanent background layer across 5 key areas: your identity, your preferred communication style, your current goals, your daily schedule, and your avoidances, those explicit guardrails of what you absolutely do not want. For example, telling it to never, ever start an email with "I hope this email finds you well." Fill this out once, and Claude already knows exactly who you are from the very first message of every single conversation.
Now, this brings up a confusing distinction for a lot of folks, the difference between projects and skills. Custom instructions are broad, but what if you're juggling a bunch of different clients? That's exactly where projects come in. Projects hold your knowledge and context, things like specific brand guidelines or background files. Skills, on the other hand, hold your execution processes. They are the repeatable, portable instructions for doing a specific recurring task the exact same way every single time, like generating a perfectly formatted business proposal from just a few rough bullet points.
The final piece of the puzzle, the absolute top of the stack, is connectors. Everything before this relied on information you typed, uploaded, or found on the web. Connectors break that boundary entirely. They turn a text generator into a literal assistant that retrieves real information from your actual systems. Think your Google Calendar or your email inbox. And don't worry, you remain in total control with very sensible read and write permissions. You can have it auto-approve checking your schedule, for instance, but still require your manual approval before it actually sends a message or deletes a file.
Think about how beautifully these 4 layers stack together to form your very own personalized AI operating system. Step 1 establishes who you are. Step 2 isolates what you know for specific work. Step 3 automates how you work. And Step 4 dictates where you work. Each layer compounds, narrowing the scope from your general identity all the way down to taking physical action inside your specific software tools. Ultimately, this stack is simply a system for delivering maximum specificity with minimum repeated effort.
Almost there. Section 6, reaching Level 5 mastery.
Here's the thing. You genuinely do not need to be a technical expert to build this amazing system. What you really need is a shift in mindset. Stop treating it like a basic search bar and start briefing Claude like a highly capable colleague. You can start this today by simply implementing the GACO framework in your very next prompt. Then, as you naturally notice yourself repeating instructions over the coming weeks, you just automate that repetition into custom instructions, projects, skills, and connectors. I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought. If your AI assistant only knows what you typed in the box today, without any persistent context about you, is it really an assistant at all? Don't let your AI remain a stranger every time you open it up. Go implement the GKO framework today, start building out your full stack, and watch your productivity completely transform. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time as we continue exploring the fascinating edge of what's actually possible.